This whole Benzema situation is making me crazy. So 2 days ago, Julien Laurent came out. Okay, if you don't know who is Julien Laurent, he's a French journalist for ESPN FC. Generally, he's very reliable for French players. And he came out and said Benzema is going to leave Real Madrid this season, which was absolutely devastating and shocking because we weren't prepared for this. And then Marca came out and had an interview with Benzema, and Benzema said, don't listen to online. So what's going on? Is Benzema going to stay or he's going to leave? Interestingly, ESPN had good discussion about this. So today we're going to react on this.
Meanwhile, in Spain, this morning we woke up to strong reports about Karim Benzema's future not being with Real Madrid and that he would leave when his contract expires this month to join Saudi Arabian side Al Ittihad. But Karim Benzema has since, as the days progressed, come out on his own future and said, at the moment, I'm at Real Madrid and this Sunday we have a game. Why am I going to talk about my future if I'm at Real Madrid? Those who talk about my future are on the internet, and the internet is not reality. This is an interesting situation, Alex, and it seems to be changing as well. He hasn't specifically said, though, that he's not leaving Real Madrid here. So where does this leave the club?
So that's my problem. He didn't say, I'm going to stay here. We are still in dilemma. Is he going to stay or is he going to leave?
Yeah, those quotes are quite interesting, aren't they? As much as you say what he doesn't say as what he does, because he could have come out today. This was at an awards ceremony from the newspaper Marca. He could have come out and said, I'm staying. I'm here until next summer. He didn't say that. He said, I'm here right now, which is a statement of fact. And he said, basically, don't believe everything you read on the internet, which, is good advice. You probably shouldn't. But look, this is a developing story. It's been developing over the last few hours. It's been developing over the last few days as well. What do we know? We know that the plan was, both from the player's point of view and from Real Madrid's point of view, that he was going to stay for one more year until 2024. That was the plan from both sides. We know that he has received this offer, this very tempting, lucrative offer from Saudi Arabia, and part of their wider strategy that we've seen with Cristiano Ronaldo, that we've just been talking about with Lionel Messi as well. We know that Benzema was tempted by that offer. And you can understand that at the age of 35, even for a player who's earned a lot of money like Benzema, we're talking about huge sums, hundreds of millions of euros. So we know that he was tempted and he's been thinking it over.
So that's the issue. The plan was to stay until 2024, which is understandable because we don't have a replacement for him yet. Only way it's going to work out pretty well if we have a proper replacement. Now, I understand that the money from Saudi is too much. It's too much for this age and it's very tempting. So he might be thinking about the money, but also he has to think about our club because he's our club legend. He cannot leave us without us making a proper replacement. And if you see at the market, there are not many options we have.
We had this report coming out from our colleague Jules earlier on today saying that it looked like Benzema was off. Since then, by all accounts, Real Madrid have been pushing very, very hard for him to stay. And of course, you've always got to bear in mind whenever this information comes out, and we should say that Jules' sources when it comes to Karim Benzema are very, 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 very good. When this stuff comes out, who does this information benefit? How much of it is about negotiating tactics and trying to put pressure on one party or the other? So right now, as we speak, we don't know how this is going to turn out. As I say, it's still a developing story.
So my question is, where does Julien Laurent get this information from? Definitely from Benzema's cohort. Now, I'm not defending Julien Laurent or saying he was right because he was also wrong last year. For example, he's the first guy to tell us that Mbappe is going to join Real Madrid, which didn't happen, and we know that Julien Laurent was wrong.
Maybe we're leaning towards Karim Benzema in the end, as we thought he would in the first place, staying at Real Madrid for one more year. But there's no doubt he has been seriously tempted by this offer from Saudi Arabia. And at this stage in his career, and with the season he's just had as well, because he's had this injury-hit season, he hasn't been at his best. Just coming a year after, he had the best season of his career last year, of course, with Real Madrid's Champions League win and winning the Ballon d'Or individually as well. He's had this difficult campaign this year. The numbers aren't terrible.
So look at this number. This season he has scored 30 goals and 6 assists. That's not poor at all, as many of Real Madrid fans think Benzema had poor season. When you have 36 goal and assists total, that's not poor. How many players can do that? Now what we can say that he wasn't consistent enough. Like he was injured a lot of matches and he was missing a lot of big matches and he was off in big matches, specifically most important game of our season, say Man City. However, this number compared to last season. See, 44 goals and 15 assists. That's almost like half. But again, last season was his best season ever. Even though he's aging, I think he should still see out the contract 2024 unless we have a good replacement. And if you see in the market, there's only one proper replacement for Benzema. We're going to talk about this later.
And they're not getting Erling Haaland, not this summer, I wouldn't imagine. Nobody really else out there that I can think of. So that would leave a gap for them. And that's been a problem area for them when Benzema has been injured, because they really don't have anybody that can come in and do a job.
I mean, that tells us our failure this season. Why we did not win what we wanted? Because there was no one to play for Benzema when he wasn't available. And you don't expect Mariano to score those goals for you. And Craig said Haaland is not available. I understand that he's not available. We had the best chance to sign Haaland when he signed for Man City. But the whole Mbappe saga totally transformed that transfer.
Saudi Arabia seems to be popping up quite a lot.
The place to be.
Well, I'm not
for
sure
these
about that,
players.
but it's certainly popping up with a lot of cash for people.
I would say Saudi money is going to be a problem for football. With those amount of money, like every player would be thinking about that. Like who would think, oh, that's money they would not get from here. At least the good news is that they're aiming for older players, older famous players, not players who are in their prime. Imagine if they would ask Vinicius to join them for say $1 billion. I wouldn't be surprised in the next couple of years.
Talking about that situation then, Alex, Harry Kane, what would Real Madrid do in a situation like this? They're already looking to bring in somebody up top as well, even if Karim Benzema is to say. Do they go for a big name right now if he's to go, or do they wait it out to get the likes of an Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe?
To answer that question, we cannot wait another season without any proper replacement.
It would be a bit of an awkward one for Real Madrid this summer because, like I say, the plan was in place for this succession plan to happen next summer when maybe someone like Haaland, maybe someone like Mbappe might be within reach. Of course, they've got Endrick, the young Brazilian sensation, coming in from Brazil in 2024 as well when he turns 18. But if it was suddenly going to be this summer, it's difficult because they were already looking for a centre forward. They were already looking for a number 9. Strong links with a move for Espanyol centre forwards. Joselu, former Real Madrid player, and that looks like close to being completed. But that would be to be the backup striker, not the main striker. That would be to complement Karim Benzema. And so if Benzema were to go as well, all of a sudden you're looking for not one striker, you're looking for 2. And as Craig says, there aren't a huge number of options on the market. Harry Kane is out there, of course, but Harry Kane would be expensive. And you look around at other names, other options. I don't think there are any really obvious options. We've seen some other names that we have looked at over the course of the season. We've reported previously they were taking a look at Vlahovic of Juventus, like a lot of big clubs have been looking at Vlahovic. He was one name, but there aren't many other obvious candidates for this summer. And this, as I say, is an unexpected scenario for Real Madrid. They weren't expecting, and we still don't know if they'll have to, but they weren't expecting to have to replace Karim Benzema.
So he pointed out there's only one player who is available at the market who could be a good replacement for Benzema. So who is Benzema? Benzema is a player who likes to create chances and link up with other players and ultimately score goals, who is a leader in the front side. And the player who is very close to his CV or resume is Harry Kane. Harry Kane also likes to create chance, also like to score goals. So on paper, that looks like the perfect marriage for both him and Real Madrid. However, does Harry Kane wants to leave England to come to Spain? That's a big question. There are lots of reports suggesting that Harry Kane doesn't want to leave England. He wants to leave his Spurs, but not outside of England. Now for him, if you think about his resume or CV, he doesn't have any title. If he wants to win titles, what's the best club to go for? Real Madrid.
I mean, I know the perfect fit. I mean, we are talking somebody who can play like Benzema. I think for me it would be the perfect fit for Real Madrid.
I do completely agree what Frank just said.
And he has everything to be successful at Real Madrid. And I think it's an honest hesitation from Karim Benzema because it's not all about money. Yes, money is an aspect, but you have maybe one last year to play at the top level. And the thing is, to answer to that question, you have to make sure that you have no regrets. That's the thing. So whether it's going to go or not, I don't know. I think that he's the only one who maybe knows deep inside himself. But I already know, if he goes, that Real Madrid has to go for Harry Kane. I can put my hands on fire that Harry Kane is going to do very well at Real Madrid.
So, if Benzema leaves, there's no question, no doubt that Real Madrid will go for Harry Kane.
This could be a great opportunity for somebody if Karim Benzema goes, and there's a big gap to fill there at one of the best clubs to play at in world football, one of the most successful clubs to play at, who are potentially looking at a gaping hole in their, flagship position.
There's no doubt that Harry Kane is a very good, versatile player and perfectly fits a lot of teams. However, for Real Madrid, my concern is that he's 30 years old. That means he doesn't have a lot of years left. The maximum he can play, I think 4 years. So if we get Harry Kane, say, hypothetically, this year, that might block our chance of getting Haaland or maybe Kylian Mbappe. That is my biggest concern of getting Harry Kane this year. I think the ideal scenario would be Benzema to stay one more year and see his contract out in 2024 and get other players, younger players like Haaland or Mbappe. So let me know, what do you think about this whole transfer saga? Do you think Benzema is going to stay or is he going to leave? Also, if he's going to leave, who do you want to sign for Real Madrid to replace Benzema?